Hi, thanks for joining us for a new season of The Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. It is almost spring and the Memphis area master gardeners are getting ready for spring fling. Today we'll show you what they have planned, including herb gardening. Also, should you buy transplants or grow your garden plants from seed? The pros and cons of each. That's just ahead on The Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for The Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to The Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today, Jenny Fletcher, John Peterson. They are both Memphis area master gardeners. And Joylyn Diamond is here with us today. She's a TSU Extension agent in Tipton County.
Hello.
All right, Miss Jenny, spring fling is coming, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that, okay?
This is our 14th annual spring fling.
14.
March 23rd and 24th, which is Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
It'll be 9 to 5 at the Big Red Barn in front of the Agri Center on Germantown Road. And we have free admission and free parking. Good. We're going to have approximately 45 vendors from local vendors and out-of-town vendors. We're going to have a lot of speakers. We've got some really good speakers, of which you are one. We're going to be talking about vegetables from the ground up.
That's right.
And Miss Joellen is also going to be with us, and she's going to talk about trees for the landscape, which is going to be a great deal. All right. Jason Reeves from UT Jackson, Year in the Garden, Dale Skaggs from the Dixon. Okay. And we're going to have Chris Olson come in from Little Rock. He's a nationally known TV author and what have you. And he's going to talk about drab to fab. And then, of course, Miss Carol Reese. She's always welcome. That's right. We'll have several demonstrations that Master Gardeners are going to put on. And one of them is going to be like herb gardening and drying, like John is going to talk to us today about successful seed plantings, creating a wildlife habitat, thinking outside the box, and then we'll have a lot of homemade goodies from the Master Gardeners.
I like those homemade goodies.
Now, spend the day with us, and we'll have food trucks and the whole deal.
Oh, it's going to be super.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we were talking about those demonstrations, we do have Mr. John here. Yeah. So what would you like to tell us about herb gardening?
Well, when you asked me to be on this show, I said, you know, this is not a great time to find plants, but I went out in my yard, and sure enough, the thing about herbs is most of them really want sun. Most of them want light soil. So, you know, dig in that manure, that compost, that coarse sand. And an awful lot of the common ones that we use in the kitchen are perennial. So once you plant them, you've got them. I mean, they may die back to the winter. Some of them are evergreen. Can start with this one, which is thyme, a perennial. It's evergreen. So in December or January, you can go out in the garden and pick it. This is German winter thyme, and I bought that plant or its ancestor in the 80s. Wow. And I still have it, so I recommend it. It's been through -4, it's been through 108, you know, and it
I think that'll work then.
Yes. And French thyme and lemon thyme also work very well here. This is a wonderful, funny plant. This is walking onion. It never makes a big bulb. It just makes these perennial green onions, and then it'll make little top bulblets that are too heavy for the stalk. It falls over roots, sends up stalks, makes little bulblets, falls over in roots, so it walks around your garden. It's a real mild onion flavor, milder than chives, and you know, it's great fun. This one is the one here that's not a perennial. This is flat-leaf parsley. Parsley is a biennial, and this is its second year. While it's still cool, it'll continue to make leaves, but pretty soon it'll start to send shoots up to make seeds. So we plant it every year. You can plant it spring or fall. Very rich in vitamins A and C and iron. So, you know, it's not just a garnish on the plate. Eat it. At the end of the meal, it's a breath freshener. Okay. This is an oddity here. This is a seedling of an elderberry. Elderberry's medicinal benefits are well known and well documented. the tradition is that the elder was the mother of all plants, and an herb garden had to have at least one in the corner. That'll get 8 to 10 feet tall, and you can cut it back every spring, and it'll continue to produce.
Okay.
Then my mints still looked kind of puny, but these are members of the mint family. This is catnip,
yeah.
And if you can beat your cat to it, the leaves make a very nice tea. And this is oregano. Now, both of these die to the ground in the winter, but they come back. The oreganos, Italian and Greek oregano, this is the Italian. The Greek I was sold as an annual, but fortunately it didn't get the message. I've had it for 6 or 7 years. Mexican oregano is an annual. That's a different plant.
Okay.
But for those of you who are interested in drying, some herbs just don't keep their flavor very well when you dry them. Like parsley tastes like the lawn to me. But oregano does dry very well. And when the time of year to get an herb to dry is when it's about to form flowers, because that's when the flavor is the most, that's when the essential oils are the strongest. And the time of day to do it is in the early morning, after the dew is off it, because the dew is moisture, it might affect the drying process or produce fungus, but before the sun hits it. And you can just hang them up someplace away from the sun, and when they're dry in a week or so, test it, strip the leaves off the stems, stick them in a jar, put it in a cupboard, pantry, whatever, and you'll have it. Fresh is always better, but I still have parsley that I dried 3 years ago, wow. And it still has good flavor. But I'm looking forward to having fresh parsley regularly in a couple of weeks.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. John. Any disease problems we need to know about, insect pest problems with herbs?
I have not had them, knock on wood.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, herbs are pretty well known for being pretty disease-free.
Okay.
Some of them are even supposed to deter insects from getting to the plants that are next to them.
Right.
So I don't know how true that is,
right.
But that's just an interesting bunch of plants.
Wow. Okay. So again, full sun, good rich soil, good drainage is what we're looking for with the herbs. Okay. Now, what is a good time to plant herbs, though? Does it matter? Or?
The annuals that want warm weather, of course, we shouldn't plant until probably at least April.
Okay.
Things like basil, maybe not even until May, because they want warm soil.
Right.
Some of these perennials you could plant now. Things like cilantro you could plant now. Cilantro hates the heat. It goes to seed and the flavor changes. But I have some that I planted last fall that's still thriving.
I think we all like herbs. I know Joe Ellen has plenty of herbs.
I like them.
Ms. Jenny, you probably have some herbs as well, right?
I do. I really, especially cilantro,
All right.
because I make salsa. And, it's just wonderful to have that fresh cilantro.
That it is. All right. So we'll be looking forward to that demonstration at Spring Fling, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, Ms. Jenny. So once again, tell us a little bit more about Spring Fling.
Well, there's one thing I didn't mention previously was that on Saturday we're going to have the kids' activities. And we're going to introduce them to Mr. Wiggly Worm, and they will learn all about the worms and how to make a garden hat while they're there, how to do their own little seed pots and plant the seeds. I think they're going to plant zinnias and marigolds.
Oh, good.
And we'll have face painting, which they always just really love. And then other than that, we're going to have vendors from horticulture type plants all the way through vegetables and all sorts of garden art. And there will be several new artists in that garden art area. But the biggest thing we want you to come down for is to enjoy the atmosphere, to take part of our homegrown or homemade goodies that the Master Gardeners prepare. And again, if you spend the day with us, we'll have some food trucks available. It's just a great day, a great opportunity to explore all kinds of new things in the garden.
It'll be good, and it's a free event.
Right.
And one last thing, we're celebrating Extension Month, so come out and meet the Shelby County Extension staff.
Right.
We'd love to meet you. We hope to see you there. Thank you. There are a number of gardening events going on in the next couple of weeks. Here are just a few that might interest you. All right, Ms. Jarlin, seed or transplant? Which one?
Oh, well, you know, that depends.
It depends, okay.
I actually do both.
Okay.
Because I go by, like a lot of people do, the length of time that it takes a seed to germinate and grow to a producing fruit. And if it's a long time, there's so many things that can go wrong. You know, like there's, you know, the weather, there's disease pathogens, there's weeds, there's all sorts of those pressures in the ground. And if you transplant, you know, ahead of time, you still have the same thing. You don't really have all of the correct temperature or the moisture level consistent enough to germinate seeds. Now, there are a lot of things you can buy.
Sure.
You know, you can buy grow lights, you can buy germination chambers and all sorts of things that will help you, and you will have great success with that. So if that's is that a hobby of yours and you like that, that'd be great. If you have a greenhouse, it's even better. But, you know, a lot of us don't have those things. And so transplants for things that take a long time, like tomatoes, peppers, and even cool season crops that we can get here this month, like broccoli, cauliflower, and the cabbages. The time that they have to be sown to be able to get a seed transplant is usually in hotter weather or too cold, and so the germination is not that great. So buying transplants of those helps that process along. So you've already got a plant, but you've got to be willing. Somebody has gone to the trouble to grow that plant, so you know they're going to cost a little more than a packet of seeds. But I like to do both, and some of the things I think that are great to grow from seeds are sunflowers, beans, peas, squash. You know, all of those kinds of things. Things that are easy to germinate, that don't take long to germinate, are good candidates for seed production. And things that take a long time, you know, like tomatoes and peppers, those are better for buying transplants. Now, there are some seed productions that, I have not seen anybody have transplants of carrots. You know, mostly you have to seed those in the ground. But one thing you've got to remember, the root vegetables like that, when you sow those seeds, they're small. So you're going to get a whole bunch of them coming up all at once. You've got to be willing to thin them and just leave some so there's room enough for that root to produce in the ground. And that's the only thing. You have a little bit more work that way with those type of seeds.
You want to eliminate the competition, of course.
Yes, definitely do.
All right.
So that's basically, and I do both. I do some seeds because I just like watching things grow from seeds. But I do buy transplants, especially of broccolis and the tomatoes and things that take longer. And I don't have a greenhouse or the facilities or the apparatuses to have those grow. So I tend to buy those as transplants.
I think the majority of gardeners buy transplants anyway, especially tomatoes and peppers. I mean, because you see a lot of those at the big box stores and at your nurseries.
Yeah, but you don't get as much variety. I mean, the seeds, there's such a large variety of seeds available, and you might find one that you really like, so you're willing to go to that trouble to grow that particular one because you can't find it already grown out in the industry. So that's one drawback of just going with transplants all the time. You're at the, whoever wanted to grow what, and it is available to you. That's all you have to choose from, whereas a catalog full of seeds, it's got a much wider variety of plants to choose from. That's the only difference that I see, plus the length of time and the willingness of you to, have the right conditions for those seeds to germinate.
Okay. All right, so what you going to demonstrate for us today? Well,
I have a fun little project that kids love. This is a good family project. And I'll do my windowsill gardening this way.
All right.
And I make my own. We're into recycling and being environmentally sustainable. So we've got these wood newspaper pot makers. There's all different kinds. You just buy one that you like. And this particular one says to cut your newspaper about 3.5 inches by 10 inches. And you simply take it at the edge of the pot and you roll it. Then you fold it over the ends, and then you set it in place by doing this. You see it comes out like that. And then you pull it out and you have a pot.
I think I could do that.
And you can, the thing is this, with the newspapers now, the ink is soy-based. Huh. So, you know, you can just plant this directly in the ground, but then you will fill it with soil. This is a germination type soil, so it's a fine, because it's for seeds. And so any kind of germination soil will do, and you put it in. I have this little tray that I put it in, and you know, here's some squash. We'll plant some squash, and we've got some sunflowers. So, you know, and a lot of people say plant one. Well, you know, this is windowsill. This is windowsill gardening. So I'll plant like 2 or 3. But you just, and you remember the seeds are big, so you're going to put this down in the soil about twice the width of the seed. Right. So when I'll set it in place, and then I simply push it down. And then I'll water it, and the good thing about this is you can water the tray, and it'll soak it up, so you don't have to keep pouring over the top. And then if you, of course, take your pencil and your popsicle stick, and you can write, well, this is zucchini, so you can sit it right there like that, and then it's labeled, and when it comes up, you'll know what was in that pot. And if you can see, sometimes windowsills, if you want to keep the temperature nice, you'll put a piece of plastic over, kind of make a little greenhouse in your windowsill. And when they do germinate and come up, they don't all come up. There might be this one may not germinate, and there'll be plants in all these others. And there might be 1 or there might be 2. You never know. Because it's not an exact science. You put it in a sunny window. I say either east or west or south. I have put them in east windows, but don't have as much luck. Because the south and the west, the sun stays in the windows a little bit longer and is a little bit hotter, so they seem to germinate better there. But it's not exact because, you know, the fluctuates from morning to night, and your house temperature isn't always right. It's dry, and then you may forget to water, and you know, so it's not an exact science, but it sure is a lot of fun.
Wow. So this is something that you do regularly?
I do it every year just because it's fun.
Look at the look on her face. Can't you tell it's fun? Yes. She's like a kid. Okay. That is neat. Something to do with the kids. Get them interested.
Get them interested in gardening. And then, you know, take the kids and you go outside once you have them and you plant them in the ground, and then they get to water them, take care of them, and then collect the fruit, and then you cook with it, and they eat more vegetables.
That sounds good. One last question, though.
Sure.
Can you actually plant that in the ground like that with the paper?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because it will degrade, I'm
sure.
It
will degrade. You sure will.
Good deal. We appreciate that demonstration, Ms. Joellen, all right?
No problem.
Thank you.
We're here looking at the pansies and the Dusty Miller that we planted this last fall, and one is not doing well. And when you look at it, it's slightly lower than the others. Plus, it's been raining a lot. It's so wet that I was able to pull a dandelion up, roots and all. So I'm going to try something, because there's still some life left in this Dusty Miller. We're going to raise it up just a little bit and see if we can't keep it alive. It's got some nice roots on it. So we'll just raise it up. And now it's just a little bit raised, and we'll see if that does the trick, keeping it alive.
All right, here's our Q&A session. Y'all ready for this?
Sure.
Y'all just jump in there and help us out, all right?
All right.
Okay, here's our first viewer email. When using livestock manure for fertilizer, specifically cow manure, how can the pigweed be eliminated? And this is from Terry. So, Ms. Joellen, pigweed produces over 100 to 200,000 seeds, right?
Yes.
And we know that cows will eat that.
Yes.
Right? So, how do we eliminate those seeds in that manure?
You got to make sure that your compost pile is hot enough, because pigweed seeds are tough. I mean, they want to live, so you've got to really make that, you know, heat in that pile so that they will, you know, be high enough to kill. And according to an extension publication, 1.1 hours at 140 degrees will kill pigweed seeds.
That will do the trick.
That will do the, or 3 days at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So all of those, that will be enough heat to kill the pigweed seeds. If you don't get that, they will germinate.
They will come back with a vengeance.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah, 140 degrees.
For 1.1 hours. Fahrenheit, that's Fahrenheit.
Right.
Or 3 days at 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. Which means you have to get your carbon and nitrogen ratio correct. Okay. Adequate moisture.
Yes.
40 to 60%. Oxygen content needs to be up there pretty good. And guess what else needs to be there as well? Your pH.
Yeah.
Right? Because the microbes are going to be eating it up, and that's what's going to heat the compost pile for you to eliminate those seeds.
And a temperature probe, you know, to make sure that you have the right temperature would also help. And those aren't all that expensive to get.
Yeah.
So
you can pick those up in any big box store, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And that should hopefully eliminate your pigweed, Terry, because pigweed is tough.
It's tough.
It is tough. You don't believe me? Ask the farmers. They will tell you so.
That's right.
All right, so here's our next viewer email. What is growing on the tree branch? This branch fell off a neighbor's tree, and I am concerned the tree is not healthy. Also, there are 2 holes the size of golf balls on this branch. And this is from Miss Patricia in Germantown. Well, Wes Hopper, our certified arborist, is going to answer this question for you, Miss Patricia.
Miss Patricia, to answer the question on the picture that you sent in, that was obviously a dead or declining branch. And what I seen from the picture is a hole, and that hole is from a woodpecker drilling on the branch that created the hole. What I also seen on the branch was fungi. It's a sapwood fungus that's growing into the sapwood of the tree, causing the sap not to flow, which makes the branch weaker. The other fungus that I've seen is a white rot type of fungus, and it breaks down the lignin or the glue that holds that wood together. Now, since that was a weakened branch, the tree says, I don't need you anymore. You're not producing any energy for me. So it builds new tissue around the branch collar, or the part that's closest to the trunk of the tree, and it closes off that branch. The branch totally dies, and it falls off on its own. It sheds its branch. Unfortunately, there's people in houses underneath this branch. Now, the next question I believe you asked is your tree safe? I highly recommend that you hire a professional certified arborist to come out to your property and inspect the tree and look around all the way around the tree, what we call a 360, and looking for any type of fungus that's growing at the base of the tree or up higher. It may just be a simple case that this tree just needs a good haircut.
Thanks, Wes. All right, here's our next question. My dwarf Yupon and wax leaf ligustrum have gotten too large. If I trim them below the greenery, will they grow back? And if so, when is the best time to do this? And this is from Miss Rosie in Forest, Mississippi. All right, so anybody want to jump in on that one? When do you think would be a good time to prune it back?
After it warms up.
After it warms up?
Yeah, a lot of evergreens you prune in the spring.
Okay.
After everything's warmed up. So latter part of April, first part of May, because as the roots you cut them back, and while it's trying to come out of dormancy or the winter, and that's going to flush more growth out, so it will have a better chance of coming back faster than it would if you did it another time of year.
Okay, and let me go back to our initial question. So if I trim them below the greenery, will they come back?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying the best time of year to do that's April, late April and May. Below, you know, so there's like no green left, and you would be surprised that because of the flush of growth in the spring, you know, wanting the energy giving energy to the plant, it will break some of those dormant buds, and they'll come out, and it'll be green again.
Okay. Anything y'all like to add to that? Would you agree with that?
I've done that several times, and people say, "Oh, you've just destroyed that plant," you know. But in order to control the size sometimes is your objective. And that's a great way to do that.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Jenny, Mr. John, Mr. Arthur, we're out of time. Thank you, it's been fun.
Yes, it has.
Been blessed.
Right. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is familyplot@wkno.org, and the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. It's time to start thinking about this year's garden. To get a jump on it, head over to familyplotgarden.com. We have hundreds of videos on all sorts of gardening topics. I'm Chris Cooper. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.